Hey guys, Steebler. Today I got a couple looks at the Marblehead for you. Norm Scott on the screen, you can see I got him quite high level. Makawa is level 15. Madden I think is 11, so he's a little bit more of a mid-tier. Pretty solid build, in my opinion. I got that set up for light cruisers, Marblehead being one of those. And today I've been playing the Marblehead 5, maybe 6 games. I think I've won them all except for the one I lost. I got the top score, I want to say, so a little bit more forward progress. I think prior to today I was playing about 60% this ranked, which wasn't all that hot in the low levels, at least for what I was hoping to do. But today, a little bit more of an improvement. I'm not going to try and rush through this season of ranked. You guys are telling me in the comments that it feels a lot different and it's a little bit less consistent in terms of results. So I'm just going to take it kind of leisurely. I do want to get into that mini campaign that's going on as well. Make sure I get the points for those and get the promotion orders and stuff like that. But we're going to take a couple looks here. This first game, obviously, in my mind, currently how I'm thinking on this one, I'd want about half my team to go to C, half to B, I think. And being only one destroyer, you know, whichever side the destroyer doesn't go to is basically where I'm going to try and go or focus my attention on. This destroyer deploys really slowly. I've been seeing this a lot for some reason in these ranked. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but the destroyers need to get going. They need to start deploying so that the cruisers can deploy to support them or do whatever they're going to. I mean, it trickles down. The destroyers have to move first. They have to get on the caps. You want to get those caps as quick as possible. Get those points coming in. Start spotting those ships. There's all sorts of reasons for the destroyers to move. There's no reason for them to sit in the back. So just get off, you know, your duff and start heading toward the cap right off the bat. But because they're finally kind of going towards that C, we're going to get over here in position to challenge B. Now, I don't need to rush on there. I'm not trying to necessarily capture that position. We do want to figure out where the destroyer is and take that one out if possible. We can also potentially get a little bit of damage there, as you saw, sneak some shots through. But at this point, I think I'm mainly trying to position into B. Now, it's unfortunate they're going to get B by the nature of it. I'm assuming it's the destroyer at this point, just based on how quick the counter started to flip on this. But we need to play it carefully. I don't want to rush in through this little peninsula or whatever that's sticking out here and present broadside. It's something you could potentially do. I got a comment on my last video on this map where I flew through there and it wasn't a destroyer. The reason I did it then was because I had the engine boost and I thought I could get there quicker, but for a cruiser, you don't want to punch through and present your broadside. Here the Mutsuki does poke through though, and you know, we're able to sneak some shots into him. I've actually decimated a team earlier today where they had one cruiser, two cruiser, three cruiser, one after the other, came right past that ledge, and I was just basically sitting here and bombing on these guys, and just it was like a 12 Citadel 30-second exchange where they basically all just got absolutely demolished, and you need to be careful playing that. Capturing this, I wanted to get it back. I want to flip this as soon as possible, but I don't need to rush it yet. They're not, I mean, if they get a 150 point, 200 point lead, it's not necessarily the end of the world. I'm not getting any support over here. That guy appears to be AFK or God knows what he's doing. Typical of the teammates I've been getting for this season. But anyways, I need to play this cautiously is basically the point I'm trying to make. Rushing in here foolhardily isn't going to work. But here we move in. We do have the sonar engaged. Now this is the distinct advantage of the cruisers at tier 4 for the rank season. They're the only ships in the game that have the sonar. There's no destroyers that have the sonar. So anytime you can catch a destroyer that's kind of camping a cloud like this, that's kind of a foolish play on his part because he couldn't see me anyways. There's nothing he could really do. Maybe he's waiting for me to get close enough to proxy spot me and then torp me point blank, I guess, was probably his play. But because we had the sonar both equipped on the ship and ready to go, we're able to push in there. And if I can drive him off the cap and he stays alive, that's a good result. A better result, obviously, would be to kill him and then reverse this cap as well. But ultimately, getting those points is going to be as helpful as killing this thing. Now, the reason it's... I mean, killing the destroyers in ranked and in any game mode, frankly, is important. But because there's one per side, if you can eliminate their one destroyer, that puts your team at a huge advantage. And, you know, on the off chance you get a destroyer player that actually knows what they're doing, that's almost a guaranteed win at that point. Mutsuki turns around for some reason. I guess he's probably trying to torp me, or I don't know what he's trying to do, but it's not a good play. He should have just kept sailing away and tried to not fire and disengage that way. Omaha's pushing in. Now we shot towards the front of the ship where the nose kind of turns inward, and you can punch through the citadel there. Even at a nice steep angle like that, we do catch him with the torp as well. Got him on fire. He damaged cons, of course, but, you know, after he launches his torps, he decides to go full broadside inexplicably as well, and we're able to take him out. So single-handedly over here, we end up wiping out the side, capturing the objective. They do get one torp salvo off into us right at the end there, which was unfortunate because prior to that hit, we were doing pretty good on damage considering the 28k, doing our ship's HP and damage in that opening sequence. But, you know, we're in the process of capturing. Now, this is a little foolish. I'm fine shooting at that thing undetected, but until this objective is fully captured, it is not captured, and you're liable to lose it. And you can throw a game just by making mistakes like this. There's what you need to be doing in ranked, playing very defensively, playing to win, and really what I'm noticing is that's coming down to who's making less mistakes, and frankly who's playing more cautiously. Not sitting all the way back, doing nothing, but cautiously. I'm seeing the teams that push forward really aggressively are tending to have a hard time in this, especially if they're not doing so in a synchronized manner, which is very hard to do and very rare to see in these games where basically there's no communication between the teams. But I don't know what this Omaha was doing here. When he starts getting shot like that, you can't be sitting still and absorbing damage. You basically, any time in this game, not just rank, but when you get shot, you need to lock your guns if you have them so they're not swinging around, and then identify what's shooting at you. Or, you know, do that in conjunction with looking at the map, or do whatever you can do to identify those threats. You need to know for sure what it is. Now, I did have access to the broadside. It was a very long shot, and I don't have any AP pen boost on this build. This is more of a fire-starting light cruiser build. So I think he got away with one there, but had I had a different build that was more focused on the AP, I could have potentially done some serious damage there just sitting there. If you start getting shot like that, just take off like a rocket. There's no real reason to sit still like that. Now, one of the reasons I like this Marblehead, you can see I'm doing it a little bit here. You'll probably see it in these the replays. This kind of fishtail motion where you can kind of swing back and forth. You really have 6 guns in the front there, and then you'll end up getting probably 2 or 3 on whatever sides, tending to point toward, you know, whichever way they're trying to turn to go forwards. So you can actually get quite a bit of firepower here, you know, 6 to 8 guns if you're doing it well. And I don't know if I do it in either of these replays specifically, but there's times where you need a lot of firepower going out. You can do that fishtail motion, or you can potentially engage multiple enemies at once if it's feasible. So keep that in mind. It's kind of an interesting analog to like having the 360 turrets on certain ships, like the Lightning, for instance, that comes to mind, where you can also fishtail back and forth, but the guns are moving, you know, through the ship in that instance. Where in this one, they're both kind of pointed. They're already just kind of pointed there because they're guns on the side. So Marblehead, like I said, I've been having a lot more success with this ship. I thought it was going to do well going into the tournament, and, you know, just up to this point, again, on the mid-tiers of this, or mid-levels, this has been my most consistently successful ship so far. So that's going to do it for this first one. The next one is a little ragey. I don't think I had too much rage that you could really tell in that game. I mean, I was really pissed at the destroyer at the beginning for not doing anything, and then I was really pissed at that cruiser that was AFK. But judging from this replay without the audio of me screaming at the TV, you can definitively tell how pissed off I was. This one, you're definitely going to be seeing me rage. Now, my problem that I get into here is what you need to do on this map is send some people to contest B, the majority of your squad, and then maybe one destroyer ideally will go to the wing. So we're closer to C. C's kind of a gimme to us, and they're closer to A, and A is kind of a gimme towards them. So in my mind, if we send one destroyer to C to capture that, and then all kind of spread out and attack B as a concerted whole, that's a good way to win this pretty consistently. If they do send someone over to C, they're going to get there later, hopefully after you have time to capture it, and then you'll also have forces closer to C than they will have to, reinforce that flank. So it's very hard for them to attack on the far side of the map. It's very hard for us to attack A, you can see, because they'll get there quicker. And they're naturally spawned over there. So we have to cross through a crossfire to get there. So it's apparent to me, though, that none of the destroyers are going to do that. And I'm sure as hell not going to concede the 200-300 points that we need to capture from the life of this match from C, just because my team is going to try and throw the match 20 seconds in. So if they don't want to do this, I'm fine going over to C and capturing it myself. It's not an ideal deployment of the ship. It's going to take my guns out of the fight, potentially for 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it is. I do have access to behind that island, though, that in the center of B, where destroyers will often camp. They'll kind of push right into the center there and then hug both sides of that island that has the B around there. So we do have access to there. Here the Mutsugi pops up, and that's going to give us a chance to contribute some damage. But again, this isn't where I necessarily want to be deployed. But what's going to really piss me off is everybody on my team that's not a destroyer, and especially the battleship, they're coming over here. Battleships on these open maps, you need to be in the center of the map, behind your center base, and you need to be hitting shots throughout the match. If you come all the way over here, you've effectively taken yourself out of the game, probably for 2/3 to the entirety of the match, okay? Now, this particular battleship is a Congo, which is a little bit faster. It's not as catastrophic as if it was a Britannia or a New York or something really, really lumbering and slow. But it's a massive mistake to send a battleship here. It's also a massive mistake to send 3 cruisers to capture this objective. Again, the odds of them sending anyone over here to contest this are low. If they have any ship that can get here undetected, it's going to be a destroyer. I specialize in killing destroyers in this thing. I do not need support. So at this point, I thought this was a guaranteed loss, and really the only way to win a match that's your teammates are unintentionally trying to throw, but they are trying to throw it. I understand they're not sitting there like, oh, I'm going to waste everyone's time and try and lose this match. But these deployments are crucial, and you need to understand what you're trying to do to win. We're trying to hold 2 objectives for the longest. We got this one, but they were going to give it to us anyways. Sending the entire team over here, it's not good. So if you can tell by watching the screen there, I'm extremely pissed off at the moment. This game, for all intents and purposes, should be a gimme for the enemy team. Now, they didn't deploy great either, but they're much closer to B, which is the most important objective to control on this map. You need to get your wing for free, which one ship can do that usually without any issues. And then you need to keep the enemy off of B, and you need to hopefully get it. And whoever controls B and their wing will win the game almost all the time. So we're going to deploy to the south of B since we're through here. I don't normally like pushing through the enemy base side a lot, but it'll give us unique crossfires into this base. Now we're about to see why this deployment was such a bad idea. We have actually all 3 destroyers kind of in the middle here, trying to hold on to that contested point. Really, when they're starting to get pushed by the entire team like this, though, they need to just turn around and run. Live to fight another day. You can see they've killed 2 very quickly, and then the 3rd one does get out of there. And this is because their entire team can support their destroyers when they get spotted, and our entire team can't support them. I can't support them either. I'm not saying I'm blameless, but I wasn't planning on going to C. That's not where I wanted to go. Nobody wanted to go there to capture it, so I went there. And then as soon as I went there, everyone went there. So Poor deployment, dug a big hole there, 100% preventable, but it is what it is. And what they now have the advantage. They have two objectives. They have the point lead, they have the ship lead, they have the destroyer lead. They need to sit back, protect B, they win the game. So from here on out, this is a combination of a carry and a throw. You can decide what proportion is, ascribable to each. But they make a lot of mistakes, and I'm able to capitalize on them, and I guess my teammates are probably doing something as well, but I don't have time to pay attention to them. So Omaha kind of pushes forward here. We drive him off. Farragut does not need to be spotted here. It doesn't even look like he shot. Maybe he did. I think he's trying to tort me, but he just got too close. Spot him, and we blast him. And this is a preventable mistake. And right now I'm in danger. I do have the broadside pointed at the Königsberg, who's shooting HE at me. So hallelujah, horrible shell selection there. I mean, I could very easily be dead, and probably should for all intents and purposes. He's still shooting HE. Yeah, he set me on fire. He's doing damage. I get it, but and a lot of times in ranked, it's more acceptable to only shoot HE in ranked because you're guaranteed some damage than it would be for a normal game. But when you have an easy broadside like that, go ahead and shoot it. Costa, again, doesn't need to be pushing in this aggressively. And I make an existential mistake there. For some reason, when I was playing this, I thought I had to turn in towards this guy. I was trying to delete this Costa as quickly as possible. But I turned my right-hand side towards that ship. And again, that was broadside to that Königsberg. Now, for whatever reason, I thought I had to do that. I thought there was an island in front of me or something. Apparently, there wasn't. But because the Königsberg is just kind of misplaying this, we're able to get away with that massive mistake. That's twice we've had the broadside towards that ship, and Frank, no offense to that particular player, but we should definitely be dead, and they just failed to capitalize on that. So we kill the two destroyers here. Königsberg, frankly, at this point, is not something that we need to be afraid of. And we'll just maintain our angle here, trying to maneuver away from these islands. If he decides to shoot AP at us, which apparently he's not inclined to do, whatever, then we can just keep the steep angle. We got enough guns pointing at him, but we'll whittle him down before he can whittle us down, regardless of what shell he's shooting. American HE way better than German HE, so if you want to get into a HE battle with an American cruiser as your opponent, don't do it in a German cruiser. Omaha here. If we can get rid of the ship, we want to do it. But while he's obscured from the island, go ahead and switch over to the Congo here. Again, this ship with the guns being all over the place, you can transition quickly. But I'm keeping an eye on that the cruiser. I'm keeping an eye. Is it going to go around the right, trying to hit me? Is it going to keep sailing off? We want to close this out whenever we can here. So I mean, was this a little bit of a carry? Yes. Was it a little bit of a throw? Yes, for sure. And I'm not saying that to shame this team. I'm just seeing it's rampant and ranked, and it's just infuriating when people have the game won. This game was 100% won, and no matter how well I played, even if everyone on my team played really well, we should still lose that game because they had every single advantage in the book. So, good job for our team to capitalize on their mistakes, turn it around, but just too aggressive, and that's just not knowing how to finish off the game. So as soon as the Omaha comes around, he thought maybe we had lost focus on him, and that's a good way to reset against a lot of people. If you can drop spot or get undercover for more than 2 seconds, their attention span is so short that they'll soon move on to something else. But because our attention span is more advanced, then we kill him, and then we go back to the Congo and finish this one out. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Let me know how rank's going for you in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, you should consider subscribing. A lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Anything else besides ranked? How's the campaign treating you? Let me know, and we'll see you later. Peace.